Good evening and welcome to the Town of Douglas Planning Board meeting of January 28, 2026. Today is Wednesday. This meeting is being recorded and broadcasted by Local Access Programming with remote participation available as provided on our agenda. I hereby call the meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. Members in attendance are Jacob Schultzberg,
Meg Schlesman,
Rich Preston,
Mike Greco.
Mike Zwicker.
okay, and Mr. Sokrat, Mr. DeRose, and Mr. Gnotic are all excused. Our first item on the agenda is A&Rs for 2836 42 Birch Street, possible votes. Is there anyone here for this? Come on up, sir.
So Jake, this is pretty straightforward.
Okay.
It contains all of the plan contents required in the subdivision rules and regulations, and the lots created meet the minimum dimensional regulation requirements for the RA zoning district. It's a complete submission, and after review, I believe it's ready for endorsement by the board. I do have an email comment from Adam Furno that, again, we can't condition A&R, but I'd like to at least read the comment before we officially approve it.
Okay. First, sir, just introduce yourself first.
David Forger,
Address?
28 Birch Street.
Okay. Can you just give us a brief summary of just what you have going on?
Well, we had 3 lots, one of which was not buildable, so we decided to just combine the 3 lots and redivide it into just 2 lots.
Okay. Easy enough. All right. Mr. Charbonneau, comment from Highway Super?
Yeah, so I've started sending A&R plans to Adam Furno, the highway director, just for a brief review to see, because with all the development we have going on in Douglas and everywhere, obviously open land is going away and houses are being developed and lots are being created where they never were before, so drainage is becoming an ongoing challenge. So he's asked to review A&R plans and reduce frontage lot plans as well. So his comment on this is, although it's not related to A&R, stormwater discharge from these lots could end up on the roadway and create a flooding/icing issue in the winter. If possible, please ask the applicant to infiltrate on the property to prevent this, so contain the stormwater on the site whenever a house is built on the property. So that's the comment from Adam.
Okay. All right, board, any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing as none, I'll entertain a motion to endorse the A&R plan for 28, 36, and 42 Birch Street.
So moved.
Second.
Made by Mr. Zwicker, second by Mr. Preston. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous.
So, Jake, I just want to make clear, because of the last time Mr. Zwicker made me aware of this. So, when we take a recess for something like this, it's important that we let cable know, so they shut off the microphones and the cameras, because I guess they didn't hear that we were going into recess, so they weren't turned off.
Okay.
So just, Pat asked me just to make sure that the control room hears that we're going into a recess, to turn everything off and then let them know when we come back.
All right, brief recess.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, item number 3, earth removal special permit extension, 1 Lackey Dam Road, Pine, Sand, and Stone, Area E, possible votes. All right. The annual re-up and renew.
Yes, it is. Good evening, Murray Driscoll, Pine, Sand, and Stone, 1 Lackey Dam Road. It's been a while because of the COVID rules and regulations allowed us to extend without having to come in. We're up for renewal, I believe it's the 11th of March.
Yes.
And I guess we're a little bit ahead of schedule, so trying to come in and be good about it. So
Perfect.
really not much has changed. This area for us is more of a working area, meaning it's not much of an excavation area. So topography and everything like that is similar to what the plan is. There's really not a lot of excavation going on in that sense. So hence I'm here, asking, instead of a 1 year, we were asking for a 1 year previous because of the sale of the property and whatnot, it's kind of in a stalled position right now. So, well, why don't we just go with it, ask for a three-year, and go from there.
Mr. Charbonneau, any comments from your office?
No, this is pretty straightforward. If the board is amenable to this extension, I do have a draft decision in the packet that I could just briefly review, because it's basically just copy and paste from the previous extension in
Yeah.
a different format. So I did put a condition in there that all the waivers and all the conditions of approval from the original decision are still in effect for this extension, to make sure that's covered. But other than that, it's just, just in a different format from the previous one, but it's the same information. And I believe you have the signature page, 2 copies in your signature folder. So other than that, there's not really much to say unless the board has questions.
Is this the only active permit, or,
So there's another area.
okay,
So with the different landowners, so this is kind of a little bit north of Mary Bedoyan's section. So the other property in town, or part of our properties in town, is closer to the Shell station, whereas this is hard
Closer
to
to-
explain
yeah.
without being in there, but it's up 146.
Yeah.
So as you look at the map with the green and the red, our shop is probably a couple thousand feet to the south of that,
Yeah.
just to kind of give you a frame of reference as to where we're talking.
Yeah, this is where you have the crushes and everything all set up, right?
Yeah, this is
Pretty
our
much.
low
Your work
yard.
area.
Yeah, so we tend to use the topography as a dump-off, because it's easier to, instead of stacking piles up before, as a raw product, just to dump off, use the topography to our benefit, and we'll, then, grab the material, screen it, and we'll create different piles
Yep.
based off of that.
So Meg, did you have a question?
I did. Just, can you, since it's been a long time since I've looked at this, explain what is Area E on this map?
That, I other than, at one point there was an A, B, C, and D. This kind of predates me, to be honest with you. It's just always been known as Area E.
So is it all
It's-
of this?
From what I understand, well, you can see there's a note that says Area B
Yep.
just below. So I believe that whenever it was cut up into sections, just to call it, I don't know, it must have been for previous permitting or somehow to get, some frame of reference. It is called Area E. So it's basically a combination of the red and the green coloring on that.
Okay.
So,
So
there's just a lot of lines
Yeah.
on it.
So Jake, what happened was, to add to what Murray had said before, the previous extension expired was from March 2023 to 2024, but that expiration came about during the last Permit Extension Act. So it received a 2-year extension without having to come before the board, and that brings us to this year, 2026. What I did put in the decision on page 3, under decision and conditions at Murray's request, is he's looking for a 3-year extension.
Yeah.
Until March of 2029. So he'd like to get a 3-year extension tonight rather than the 1 year that was granted previously.
And you basically had a 5-year extension, really, right?
right.
So, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Question through the chair. Is that unusual to grant a 3-year? It's not, it's
It
just
depends on the project.
whatever.
Yeah, because sometimes I've had projects where, there's something happening where the board wants an update sooner than 3 years, so that, maybe it's a growing season or something like that. It's project to project.
Okay.
There's really no template for that.
Bond, surety, all up to date.
Yes, you have that in your package. That's part of the packet that Jen put together.
I think it will renew later this year, but the way the bond works is it's either got to be a completion or we got to pay. So unless we have a letter from you, we're going to pay for it.
I have a question to the chair, if I could.
Mr. Preston, yes?
So you'll be working this property as presented here for the foreseeable future. But at one point, wasn't it for sale and you were going to move your operation?
It's currently for sale.
So that may happen still.
It may still happen.
Okay.
But just personally, I'm at a point where I have to act like we're going to be here for the next 100 years.
Right,
Sure.
Okay.
So it's kind of even, it might sell tomorrow, but we have to kind of still plan to operate.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're doing.
Okay, thank you.
The prudent thing to do. Yeah.
Yep.
Any other questions? All right. What are we looking at for a motion to,
Just to grant the
the 3-year
for a
extension?
period of 3 years to March 11, 2029, and this would be a
For area-
simple majority.
Yeah, for Area E.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, got it.
You got that, Mike?
Make a motion to extend the special permit for Area E for stone, pine, sand and stone for a 3-year term to expire March of 2029.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mrs. Wicker, second by Mr. Greco. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So they'll sign that at the end of the meeting, so I'll reach out to you tomorrow, and you can come in and get the decision. I'll file it with the town clerk, and then you can have it recorded.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Good to see
night.
you. Okay, moving right along, public hearing, 7 PM. Proposed amendments to the rules and regulations governing the subdivision of land. In accordance with the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 41, Section 81Q, the Town of Douglas Planning Board will conduct a public hearing on Wednesday, January 28, 2026, at 7 PM at the Douglas Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. The Planning Board will review proposed amendments to the rules and regulations governing the subdivision of land. A copy of the revised rules and regulations governing the subdivision of land may be reviewed in the Community Development Department, 29 Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. during normal business hours. Anyone interested or wishing to be heard should appear at the time and place designated. The public hearing is now open. All right.
So this is, this basically the tail end of a discussion that's been happening for a while, as everyone knows.
Between you, previous.
Yeah, so what I was asked to do, obviously by the board, was to, for this public hearing, was to produce a copy of the rules and regs with all the amendments that have been discussed over the previous year or so. So that's what this document has in it, and it's every typo, everything that's been discussed. I'll leave it up to the board how you want to review it. If you want to go through it page by page like we did previously, we can go through it page by page and just note the changes on that are being made.
Yeah, I think we can go through it page by page. If there's no changes, we just say there's no changes.
Okay, so obviously on the cover page, the January 2026 is noted for the modifications that are being considered. Let's see.
Which that might change to February.
Yeah, it could. All right, so page 5 is the first one, and again, these are basically administrative changes. Item 15, notice of any decisions of variances issued previously by the Planning Board, Conservation, Zoning Board of Appeals, just adding Planning Board and Conservation in there. And then item 19, adding a requirement for a signature block containing suitable space to record the signatures of the 7 members of the board located on the right side of the plan. Any questions on that?
No. Seeing none.
Under presentation, page 6, again, this is changes I made regarding the number of copies just from conversations I've had with different departments and requiring a PDF version of the plan. And let's see, none on 7, none on 8. Then page 10. Page 10 at the bottom, item 3, same thing. Changing the number of copies to 7 full set and 22 reduced. And adding a PDF version of the plans as a requirement. And then the top of page 11, again, just kind of adding in, just making a little bit, just additions, adding the number 1 in parentheses, and then changing 12 by 18 to 11 by 17.
I have a question if I could, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman. On 3 here, an electronic PDF version of the plans. And don't mean to nitpick, but if the technology changes and they're no longer using PDFs, or, I mean,
Well,
should we put
it's-
or equivalent, or?
I don't know, the PDF doesn't change, it's basically how they choose to give it to me. For instance, it could be a thumb drive,
Yeah.
so that people don't use CDs anymore, or they could simply email it to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the PDF is going to change, it's been around for a long time. I mean, we have software, the Nitro, PDF Nitro, so, I mean, if for some reason PDF goes away, we could address it, but, right now, I feel comfortable just keeping it as a PDF and, being flexible as far as how they get that to me.
Okay. I mean, I think it's going to be around a while, too. But if it does change, we just don't want to complicate things.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, if it changes, we can, if and when it changes, we can address things.
Thank you.
I don't know what it would change to at this point.
Who knows?
So what's going to
Only the future will tell.
Exactly.
Elon will come up with something different.
Yeah, exactly. They could have one of those delivery robots bring it to me.
Yeah.
So page 12, again at the bottom, subparagraph 1, it's the datum or current and horizontal control for the boundaries, north point scale, things like that. Bottom of page 13, talking about storm drainage systems, adding in at the end, detention, retention, infiltration ponds or basins must be shown on their own parcel of land that could be conveyed to or taken by the town. That's one thing that was important to the board, getting those on their own parcel, and I wholeheartedly agree with that.
My question with that, instead of could, should it be will
Yeah,
be conveyed to the,
yeah, because we do want it conveyed to the town.
yeah. Sure. Yeah, just so it's not debated, this is what we want. What do you mean?
Well, hold on a sec, because if it's a homeowners association, then it may not be conveyed to the town. Correct? If it's something that's going to be maintained by the homeowners association.
Could be conveyed. Upon acceptance as a public way.
Right,
So that takes care of the town part.
right. But if a project remains as a private subdivision, it must be held in a form that allows it to be governed by the homeowners association. So I guess we could put will, because it seems like it's specific to it being accepted by the town.
Yeah, I'm sure town council could
Yeah.
confirm the correct verbiage of it, but yeah, if we're taking over the subdivision,
Right.
the
Okay.
road, we should be conveyed to us.
Yeah, I think will works there. Page 14, the last two items, 18 and 19, adding cut, fill analysis, determine earth removal volume, and then again, the signature block located on the right side of the plan. Then on page 15, on item H, again, or current datum of benchmarks. Just again, these regulations change, standards change, just to keep up with that. Page 18. Under decision, change the original to final drawing, just changing the word 20 to the number 20. And then at the end, the applicant is responsible for having the endorsed plan recorded at the registry of deeds within 6 months of the date of endorsement. Administrative. Then on the top of page 19, changing town engineer to planning board agent or other entity is made to be designated by the board, and that's you're going to see that a lot more at the
Yeah.
end of the document, because there's a bunch of them. Let's see. Oh, top of page 23. Under common private ways, the minimum width has been changed from 16 to 18 feet for a common private way. Under paragraph E. Then on the next page, under paragraph F, it's been changed from 60 to 70 degrees. For no street shall intersect any other street less than at 70 degrees. And I don't know what's going on with item E, but I'm going to have to clean that up. It's just a typo change, but I'll make sure I accept those changes and make that look better.
Yeah, is that a sentence, or is that a?
The minimum centerline radio of Kerr Street shall comply with, yeah, that's the thing. It was kind of tedious because every time you do something, it throws off the
Yeah.
formatting. So I will go back through the whole thing and clean up the formatting and make sure everything is spaced properly.
Okay.
Then down below under width, it changes it from item number 6 to item number 7 of section 3.2. And then the minimum width of paved roadway shall be 24 feet.
Didn't Adam Furno discuss on any main road, he wanted 26? He did, there were notes and other ones from him that it could be asked, like on a main, say a main road, he wanted 26 feet, and then the other road, 24. Or just leave it at 24.
24 feet is usually standard.
Yeah, 12 feet per lane.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the 24, it's the minimum, so we can still say.
Yeah.
Okay.
still
Yeah,
ask
that's right,
for it.
Mike, yeah, because
Good.
if Adam
Yeah.
wants more, we can.
We can always do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they do a tech review and.
Yeah, so it'll be a situation, say you have a big development.
Yep.
And you have a main road, then 3 finger roads.
Yeah.
Your finger roads, you leave them at 24. But your main road, that's the main feed, the trunk line, I'd say, it would be a little bit wider.
Or if it's a commercial or industrial subdivision for some reason, you'd want a wider road potentially.
Correct. So as long as we have that verbiage as
Yeah,
minimum,
it's
so that it
minimum.
could be, like on a commercial place, you definitely want a much wider road because of all the truck traffic.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everyone's happy with that?
And that's going to
Yep.
help with bike lanes, too.
Yes, exactly. Page 25, under easements, this paragraph's being deleted where a subdivision is traversed by a drainage way. The board may require that they provide a stormwater easement or drainage right away. So that was something, that was a change that was discussed before my time here, but that paragraph is being deleted. 26. So recreational areas, 5.3, adding in provide suitable access for public parking as may be appropriate and necessary. I don't think that's controversial. And then the next paragraph, deleting the last sentence, the planning board shall not require dedication of such recreation areas without just compensation to the owner. And then section 5.5 is an addition, adequate access from a public way. When the physical condition or width of a public way from which a subdivision has its access is considered by the board to be inadequate to carry the traffic expected to be generated by the subdivision, the board may require the applicant to dedicate a strip of land for the purpose of widening the abutting public way to a width at least as great as that required within the subdivision, and to make physical improvements to and within such public way to the same standards required within the subdivision. Any such dedication of land for the purpose of way and any such work performed within such public way shall be made only with permission of the governmental agency having jurisdiction over such way, and all costs of any such widening or construction shall be borne by the applicant. This makes sense to me because normally when the town accepts a roadway, it's not just accepting the pavement width, it's not just accepting the sidewalks, the right-of-way actually goes beyond into the property a little bit, so I think I agree with this. Nothing on 27, nothing on 28. All right, 29 is where we start getting into the good stuff.
Nitty-gritty.
The top, paragraph 5, adequate underground utility to accommodate. We were adding the word underground in there. So I want to read this comment from Adam Furno, who couldn't be here tonight because of obviously all the stuff that's going on. So Mike has been talking to me about this, and so I reached out to Adam because I wasn't privy to this conversation. It was before my time. It's item number 2 in the email in your packet. Please disregard item number 1. That's relevant to our continued public hearing, so that's not for tonight. He said, I apologize if I misspoke on the curbing issue with Mike Zwicker.
Yeah.
Mike has been fantastic in his approach, and he is helping my department's concerns be brought forward, and I appreciate it. My concern with concrete curbing is that the salt will deteriorate the concrete face of the sidewalk. We have concrete curbing on Depot Street in some areas, and you can see the salt has deteriorated the concrete to the point where the stormwater will actually get under the roadway and sidewalk and compromise it, obviously. I would rather see asphalt, my apologies. I'd rather see asphalt curbing in these developments if possible.
Yep.
So I think we had discussed this. His opinion is either granite or
Or
asphalt or
asphalt.
Cape
Yep.
Cod berm, something along those lines.
is
So,
fine.
are you okay
Yep.
with that, Mike?
Yep, perfect.
All right, so let's go into the,
That's why it was a discussion, that's why I went back and forth. And, I mean, the town has to maintain it. At first, I knew he was for it, and then I understand his point with salt,
Yeah.
especially around here.
oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you're right,
It's
the
not-
pictures you showed me, we do have some concrete curbing.
Yes, oh, yeah, no, I mean, like I said, so it's a deal where, you know, living down south, whatever, that's one thing, but up here is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Oh, they love the concrete curbing down south, that's all the.
Yeah,
Yeah. So asphalt sidewalk specs, obviously, this is something that the board wanted to have added in there, because I think we had concrete specs previously, but nothing for asphalt, so this all came directly from Adam's office. And I kind of moved things around to make it flow better, starting out with the first 4 items under sidewalks are all general guidelines that apply to all types of sidewalks. And then the specs for just asphalt, and then the specs for concrete sidewalks. And that's basically most of the specs, 1 through 10 under Portland Cement. Again, the only thing that's been added here are the asphalt specs, the 2 asphalt specs. Everything else was already in there, but has been moved around.
yeah.
John, may I ask
Just-
a question on, I'm sorry, Mike, on number 2, is it all sidewalk walk layout? Is there an extra
Oh,
walk in there?
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Probably a typo, thank you.
And sticking with number 2, shall be reviewed with the engineering division.
That should probably be by the highway department, I would guess,
Or the peer review,
and the peer review.
because we just don't have an engineering division, so I think we just got to come up with the right wording on that.
With the planning board
Shall be reviewed
peer review consultant?
with the,
Well, it is engineer, so you could put planning board peer review engineer or engineering consultant.
maybe with engineer,
Can you just say with the appropriate representatives?
Yeah, you can keep it general.
because the planning board reviews the layout too, so we
Yes.
look at it,
Yeah.
the highway looks at it, so.
Right.
Shall be reviewed with the,
So it would be Adam who would probably inspect it during construction.
or peer review. Maybe change it just to highway department and/or
And/or,
engineer hired by the town.
Highway department and or engineer.
What if we end up with an engineer someday?
Well, that's an engineer hired by the town.
True.
Engineer hired by the town. And then it'll say, and shall be inspected. We don't have to say by these people, shall be inspected during construction, I think, because
Yeah.
these are the people. So I think we take out by this division.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Anything else in these specs? Any other questions?
check.
Last part on that page 1, we don't have a Department of Public Works.
Inspection of the highway department.
Yeah. And there's a lot of red on the next page.
Yeah. I don't know what some of these words are. I'm assuming they're legitimate terms.
And then it looks like number 10, same thing with
Okay.
engineering
Yeah.
division.
So I'll just change that to see above. So I'll duplicate that language. And by the division, may be taken to verify proper details. Again, we don't need to say that. So I'll duplicate what you commented on before.
I'm sorry, John, so how would the new version read regarding
It
town
would say,
officials?
okay, it would say, all concrete walk layout and design shall be reviewed with the highway department and/or engineer hired by the town. And then later on, we're taking out air tested strength cylinders may be taken to verify proper materials in compliance with the specifications.
Thank you.
On the one, just got one question. On page 30, number 4, this was dated back in March of '25. Take a look at that. From Adam Furno.
Oh, okay. So it's as thick as concrete shall all be 5 inches and 6 inches.
At least that's what he said back then.
Okay, so
Unless his mind has changed, because the basis for what that was written off of,
this is less than a year ago, so do you want me to verify that with him?
I mean, because we have time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be a typo, too, so you
Correct.
just confirm.
Yeah, just
Okay, I'll
confirm it.
confirm. Thank you for
Because the baseline for what this is all out of on that 4-inch came from the town of Brookline, I think he dug up.
Okay.
And he discussed about it, because they said 4, but in that email, he said, I think I want 5.
Okay. All right.
just
so I
bring
will-
that up
I will
with
check
him on that.
I'll check with him.
Yeah.
Okay. Bottom of page 31, this is about mail kiosks. We add this in that the CMU must be lighted with at least one 20-watt solar LED linear high bay light or equivalent as approved by the highway superintendent. And then just the minimum off-street parking spaces, depending on the number of mailboxes in the kiosks.
And I want to make sure we have,
We got rid of trees shall be planted within the 5
Yes.
foot. Yep.
Yeah.
If I could, through the chair, do we get in the weeds a bit when we talk about the wattage? Because that could change. I mean,
don't know.
it was hundreds, if not thousands at one point. Now it's 20 because it's LED, and it may very well change.
Yeah, this is obviously something that was discussed before my time, so it's up to the board. If the board thinks that, yeah, maybe we want to keep this general, that the CMU must be lighted or equivalent as approved by a highway superintendent.
we
We were
still
just
have
trying to
the
keep it
paperwork from
consistent.
before on how they brought in the lights, and Adam approved it, was that, I still have it at the house, I should have brought it in, but Adam approved, I think, the last light.
Yeah, because we were just looking for consistency, so if
Parts.
a light goes out, Adam knows which one to grab. You can even keep 1 or 2 in the stock, and
Okay.
It could be just adequate lighting as approved by the highway department. Unless you get into lumens, because lumens will never change, but then you're getting technical too.
Well, life gives you lumens, you make luminaires.
Well, the lumens, all that is the type of bulb you buy, in reality. It's a fixture.
Well, lumens is the luminosity. It's how
Correct.
bright something is.
Yeah.
So if you say it should be 100 lumens, that'll never change.
Yeah,
Regardless of the bulb.
yeah.
I think we're just covered, we have it in there, or equivalent, so in case it does change.
That gives you flexibility, kind of like the minimum width, you can always go.
Correct.
So it's up to the board if you want to, if you feel it's good the way it is, we leave it the way it is. I don't have an opinion on this either way.
I mean, would adequate lighting cover it versus citing the wattage?
I just know we're keeping LED because we're a green community, so it does have to be
Yeah.
LED, and the solar helps too, because I know pushing the town as that green community, well, everything changed to LEDs, so that's the only thing. We do need to try to keep it specific with that, because
So if we changed it to CMU must be lighted with a solar LED linear high bay light or equivalent as approved, but we take the 120 watt out of there.
Yeah, remove the wattage, as per a light approved by the highway department, whether he wants 20 and he wants 100.
Right.
And I think that should vary. If you have 1 parking spot, or you have 3 parking spots. You have 1 parking spot, you don't need a floodlight.
Right.
You have 3 parking spots and a mailbox, that's a good-sized development. He might want 2 lights of low wattage, or 1 light that's bright to light up that area where people are pulling in, especially in the wintertime, it's dark out. So you can see the number on your mailbox and all that kind of stuff. So you need to have a little bit of flexibility there on that light.
Yeah, and then, too, if, come to find out, these aren't throwing off enough light.
You might say, hey, it ain't no 20 I want in there, I want 150, or whatever, so
Yeah, maybe it's
you don't want to nail it down to a specific,
So this is the way it'll be worded. CMU must be lighted with a solar LED linear high bay light or equivalent as approved by the highway superintendent.
Yeah, I think that's good, because it's still, equivalent's in there, and then approved by highway, so
Yeah.
it's kind of,
and
there's flexibility, but then we're protected where it has to get approved.
in the word of at least one, so that allows us to say, hey, it's a larger development, we want two. You have the minimum.
Oh, so you want to leave at least one in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at least one, or maybe more as required.
Okay, well, yeah, so at least one solar LED linear high bay light or equivalent as approved.
Right.
Okay.
Because if, like I said, if you have 3 parking spots, you might want to light at each end, or one at each end of the parking and one over the mailbox, or
Okay.
however the design comes out,
Okay.
could determine what you want for lights. Yeah.
And then we're okay with the
Yep.
parking spots?
Yeah.
Okay, and then 6.91 is where we start with the repetitive changes to just bring things up to date. Planning board agent or such other agent may be designated planning board agent or other designated agent. Town engineer, written notice, phone call to the town engineer with a copy to the town engineer or the planning board agent. And then down below, take out town engineer, planning board agent, or the designated agent.
Yeah, that's all just updating.
Yeah, so, well, I'm wondering why we have town engineer up above when we route it down below, though.
Right.
Written notice or phone call to the, how about planning board agent? So we just say written notice or phone call to the planning board agent. And that is most likely the planner. Well, we could put the town planner, the director of community development in there, because I'm the one they'd be calling.
But do you want to leave it consistent with the way you've noted it up above? Planning board agent or such other agent as may be
Yeah, there we go.
designated by the planning board?
I think that one's a lot of flexibility, so.
Okay, good, that sounds good. Sounds good. All right, 692, pre-construction, cross out town engineer, put in planning board agent, the director of community development, the planning conservation agent, and so on. And then construction process as may be determined by the planning board. Then on page 33, 694, again, cross out town engineer, putting in planning board agent and conservation agent or other such agent designated by the board. And then again, at the end of the paragraph, or other designated agent. Then under excavation, cross out town engineer, put planning board agent or the planning conservation agent or other designated agent. And then under installation of utilities, cross out town engineer and putting in planning board agent. And again, the planning conservation agent or other individual designated by the planning board. And 34, again, doing the same thing throughout the page, just taking out town engineer and putting that verbiage in there. Same thing on page 35. And the top of page 36. And that is it.
All right.
So so from the conversation, I'm sensing that the board will want to keep this public hearing open, have me make the changes and confirm that information with Adam on the thickness of the sidewalks, and come back with a clean document at a future meeting.
Yep.
And then we can potentially close the public hearing, accept all the changes. Does that sound like a plan?
Was surety and bonds in this? I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, it was. Let me see what page that's on.
Because I remember we had some discussions
Yep.
on that.
It's under administration, I believe. or-
What does it have? Its own chapter.
Let's see.
Performance.
Because I know we were talking about like releasing and
Yeah,
Under performance guarantees? No?
Yeah, where is that, Mike?
4.2.5,
Thank you, 4.2.
page 15, according to this.
Performance guarantee. So what we have in there, let's see. Oh, yes, we did have discussions on that, so let me find that.
Because I know we were talking about release,
Yeah, let me-
partial releases and,
Would that be in one of our other,
because
Oh, there we go.
we had a whole talk
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
not releasing
Yep.
it until it's approved by, at town meeting.
So on page 17,
Okay.
the performance guarantee, item 5, the performance guarantee for the roadway construction will not be subject to reimbursement portions. The planning board will only consider release of the performance guarantee in full upon completion of the roadway and associated infrastructure and utilities, once the road is accepted as a public way at town meeting. So that's the change that was made there. And 6, the performance guarantee shall be subject to a periodic review and cost assessment to determine whether the amount retained is sufficient to cover the remaining costs, and an increase may be required by the planning board.
where that's been added in, should that be in red?
Yeah, I didn't, I
That should be, that
apologize.
should be a red note, because that was a change that we've added in.
Yep.
Please?
Yep, you're right. So yeah, those were the 2 paragraphs that were approved by town council.
And this is one other one. I didn't see it in there, I'll have to look at some more. This was from March 13th. Hold on here. This one here.
Again, I don't know what was discussed. I see this email, but I
Yeah.
don't know if it was ever discussed by the board.
What was that one, Mike?
It
Well,
says,
fiber concrete.
since I don't have any experience, this is from Adam, I don't have any experience with
Right.
concrete fiber. I spent some time doing research. It seems like it would be a good fit for new sidewalks.
Yeah.
I have asked around to my colleagues, and they are all slowly moving in that direction. Well, in the past, we have used non-reinforced concrete since it was easier to move. I spoke with Mike Zwicker, and he also has a good experience with fiber concrete. If the board chooses to go in that direction, I would not be opposed. But I would have to get language. I don't know what language would go in there to summarize concrete fiber sidewalks.
Concrete shall contain fiber. I'm pretty sure that's all it is. It's fiberglass reinforced concrete, so it don't crack. So all your new garage, if any kind of, you deal with project, the fiber is what everybody's, like he said, they're all going to it. Because instead of using rebar, you use fiberglass. And the fiberglass is like Bondo. The fiberglass mesh in the concrete. So you might see little cracks, but it prevents the concrete from really cracking under stress and strain. That's why, yes, it costs a little bit more to have the fiber, but in the long run, you should start breaking apart. And that's why he said what he said back then, where a lot of the towns are going to it for that reason. So,
Yeah, I'll entertain, I'm just not 100% familiar with it, so.
yeah.
Do you want me to get language on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Okay, so what I want to make sure about is, Mike, you've given information to me about concrete curbing at my last meeting and with this stuff. Is this the last of the information?
should be, yeah.
Okay, because...
Well, like I said, I was waiting for the final to come out to know what's been written.
Okay.
Because, like I said, it's been going on since March, and some of that stuff was possibly in there, then removed.
Yeah, I don't
Not
know.
knowing it was removed,
I don't
and
know.
that's why I've had the information.
Okay.
I don't know, like, remember at first we were trying to find any documents, we had none. So it could have originally been there or not there, and,
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, okay, so as long as they're going to, this is going to be the
it's
extent...
one of those deals where we need to see a final copy before I can say, yeah, we need to use this or not use it. If it's already in there, I wouldn't have brought it up. But where it's not in there, I am bringing it up.
Yeah, and again, I don't know what conversations happened before my time.
Yeah, I know.
So,
That's why I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
Sorry, for the fiber piece, would we give them the option to do either, or are we going to
That would be up to-
require them to use fiber?
I'd ask John, that's why Adam wrote that note. It should be fiber, with strength all the way around, helps
Yeah,
it.
I don't know that much about concrete and fiber versus rebar, but
Yeah, the rebar they don't want in case they got to cut out a section.
Yeah.
Because now you're dealing with the
Makes
steel.
sense.
Yeah, cut and rebar.
And that's why they use the fiber, because you can,
Right.
say a section breaks, you can cut it out with the chop saw, remove that section, put in a new section.
Yeah, versus
The
cutting
rebar, yeah, but you got to get in there now, that's a whole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it
so
makes
We'll
sense.
just confirm. Adam's good with fiber,
Well, and I'm
if
going to
there's a
need some
specific.
language
Yeah.
from him too.
Yeah, shoot him those back, he'll remember.
Okay.
And just going back to the performance guarantee, are we doing with this language, like, partial releases if there's phasing?
No. This would basically be, we don't do partial releases. We only release once the project is done. Because what happens is, again, I've run into this in almost every community, is subdivisions go on for 5, 10, 15. I mean, in my town plan report, you know, we have an example of a subdivision that hasn't been active for almost 20 years. What was the cost of things 20 years ago, and what are the cost of things now? So that's the fear the board has, and that's a lot of problems boards have run into, is you do partial releases, and now you're down to an amount. You know, it may be adequate now, but it may not be adequate. It's not going to be adequate 5 years from now. And the periodic review could take care of that. So I leave it up to the board. I mean, this is the wording that we had discussed, is not doing a release until it's accepted at town meeting. If the board wants to entertain partial releases on phased plans, it's up to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of not necessarily leaning towards it, but I wanted to bring it up 'cause in case, like going into a subdivision, there's a whole main road, 3 legs. Main road's completely 100% done, approved. Engineering's stamped off on it. It's completely done. I'm just trying to think if, at that point, would we
But look at
entertain
what
a
was the
release?
state, the road and everything's all done. But yet the wetlands and everything's a mess.
And they didn't.
And there isn't
have
enough
access to
money
their
there for them, there isn't enough incentive for them to fix it, so they can just say, see ya, and it's all yours.
Yeah.
Now we're
That's
stuck
just
with
like
the bill.
one, that's just one straight road, though. And I think the issue I was having with partial releases, I think people were coming in like, hey, we put drainage in, so let's get rid of the drainage part. We put the sidewalks in, let's get rid of the sidewalks, and kind of really itemized. It was kind of like more of an itemized release, which I didn't really like.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we did these 3 things, we want $5,000 back. You know,
Yeah.
That type of thing is dangerous. But if the board is doing a periodic review, I mean, a phase subdivision is actually going to take longer than something like Whiten Reservoir, because it's one straight road, or the lane of Hunts Pond, which is going to be one straight cul-de-sac road. So
And not phased,
I suppose
yeah.
if the board, Mike, if you're amenable to this, if a periodic review would take care of that, because if you're
Yeah, I
reviewing the
mean, I'm
bond,
open to whatever. I just hate seeing us get stuck,
Yeah.
because it's happened more than once.
Yeah, I don't want to do the itemized releases, but I'm just thinking with phasing.
how about if we say this, the planning board will only consider release of the performance guarantee in full upon the completion for subdivisions that aren't completed in phases?
No, you don't want to restrict too much.
Or you can always just add at the end, phased projects may be
Okay.
considered,
Maybe considered
yeah,
for partial release.
for releases after phases are completed and fully inspected and approved. And you have it, it's maybe considered.
Inspected and approved, but you said approved by the town?
No, by
So
the
that's what I'm
engineer.
getting at,
Yeah.
approved, you know, or at the board's discretion.
Yeah, I think maybe just adding that in of, phased projects may be considered for partial release.
Because I know that Douglas Sutton is a phased project,
Yeah.
right? Like you're saying, what is it, 30 houses, I think? So there's your main road, and then he had, I think, 2 or 3 finger roads. coming off of that. So like you say, if the main road is done, the house is on it, and the road is being
Yeah.
used, so that might.
Or one whole leg is done, but there's 2 more to do. All right, let's, yeah.
Correct.
That one road with 5 houses, that's good to go.
Yes, so
But
that
then,
could be
but
considered
you
for a
still
partial.
have a main chunk
Yeah.
of it.
So let me read you a sentence, Jake,
Okay.
if you like this. Phase subdivisions may be considered for partial release upon the completion of a phase and a review of the bond. Because naturally, if they want to do a partial release, we have the peer review engineer go out there and inspect it
Yeah.
anyway, to make sure everything's done that they said would be done. So whenever there's a bond release, we engage the peer review engineer to give us a letter. So that's a given.
And that would include everything, even the bounds and all that for that area.
Yeah.
Like you say, having it complete, with the
Complete-
bounds
phase-
all in,
phase
everything's all in.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we
so,
would do an evaluation of the bond to make sure what's remaining is adequate to cover
Yes.
the subsequent
Yeah.
phase. That's why I
Yeah.
put that in there.
yeah.
Review the
yeah.
bond.
Because we were starting to do a lot of like itemized.
Yes.
Yeah, we were.
Absolutely, yeah.
Didn't like
It was
that.
getting too much, there'd be 30, we'd get a whole page of all these little things with a number next to it. Instead of it, like you say, as a group, it was like a line
Do
item.
we have a fee when someone requests a partial bond release?
I can't answer
Because
that.
some towns do that. That's how they
Not- not
discourage.
mine, no.
They charge a fee for every time because every time there's a bond
Yeah,
release.
it's a transaction that the town has to.
Yeah. With the board and staff has to spend time engaging the peer review engineer and doing all that. So it's something to consider. I mean, we could do that administratively outside of this, but it's something to consider. So, okay, so.
All right, so what do we got, John?
So phase subdivisions may be considered for partial release upon the completion of a phase and a review of the bond.
Of a 100% completion of a phase.
Fully complete phase, fully
Of
complete.
the.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter?
Yeah.
Well, is that
It says upon the completion of
Yeah.
the phase, so
Okay.
that's complete.
Right,
Yeah.
It's, so
yeah.
And
it's not partial, it's not partial completion, it's completion.
and then what is it at the end for review?
It says, and a review of the bond for
Should we add an inspection, just to cover, just inspection and
inspection.
review of the bond?
Okay, I could do that.
If I could, but in any case, something's going to be held until the road is approved at town
Of course, yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why we review the bond, to make sure what's being held for the, say it's a 3-phase and you're releasing, you're doing a release for phase 1. We want to make sure phases 2 and 3 are covered
Yeah.
with updated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, all right,
Yeah.
one leg is done, but that might add a little extra maintenance cost to the bond for the rest of it, because traffic could be, coming in and out of it, so. I think updating how much, reviewing stuff and giving some flexibility, I think would be good.
Okay. Thank you. So I'll leave it up to the board when you want to continue the public hearing. We could do it to the next meeting, which is the 28th, or you could do it to the meeting after that, because we have a public hearing on the 28th. If you want to do this one on the same agenda, that's fine.
Has anyone been in to review? Has anyone come in the office to take a peek at this at all?
The public hearing?
Yeah.
For this?
Yeah, the
No.
changes?
No.
Since it's been posted or anything?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, so we got to gather some, just confirm some comments from
Yeah.
Highway. And then we're going to send, do we send this to town council for review, or is this just in-house,
I
right?
don't think we need to.
Shouldn't be anything.
No, I don't think there's anything controversial in here other than
The only thing
language on the bonds.
and then you reviewed
Yeah,
that
and
with
then
town council.
she recommended this language, so. And I did send her, I think we were working on, I also sent her the CMU, the mail unit language, and also the concrete asphalt. I think it was that whole section of stuff we were changing considerably.
Yeah.
She reviewed all of that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with, so our next meeting is when?
February 11th?
Yeah, I'd like to wrap it up. We've been working on this for a long time, so.
Yeah, well, 25, I mean, I think we even started it in 24, really, or the beginning of 25 is when it all started.
All right, so do you think the next meeting, February 11? I think that should be enough time to for you, John, to
Yeah.
go through it again with a
It's
fine
not to
tooth?
do, yeah.
My only question, John, with the changes and things being added, did you go through and make sure the page numbers match?
Yes.
The,
I went through a table of contents. I didn't put all of that in there, but yes. I
Yeah,
verified the
okay.
changes, Yeah.
I know, I think I was looking at maybe the zoning board, the zoning one. I'm like, go to page 10 for this. I'm going to go to page 10. It's not even
Yeah.
there on page 10.
Yeah, I changed all.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing to February 11th at 7 PM.
So moved. Second?
Made by Mr. Preston, second by Mr. Zwicker. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that gives the other members a chance to read and,
Thank you for the red highlight. It makes it easier. Because we've gotten them back before all black. It's like, okay, what's changed? It's so hot.
It took a lot of time to make sure everything was in red.
Yeah, I know.
I had to go back and believe me,
Yeah.
my eyes were crossing, so.
That's why I say thank you.
made that whole process go a lot
It just
easier.
I
makes
get
it a
it.
lot easier. Anybody looking at
So
it.
basically what I had to do with changes that were in blue or pink or whatever, I had to go accept those changes and then redo the font in red and
Yeah.
underline, strike it through. That's why I know there are a couple things that
That's all right.
make it in red.
Yeah,
And
that's why we review.
All right, additional business, master plan committee update. Mr. Preston.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Master Plan Committee met last Wednesday. We reviewed the second draft of the transportation and circulation element, among other things. The writing phase should be completed by April. It was delayed a bit because the committee wanted to take another look at housing and zoning elements further, so we'll be spending a little extra time on that. The first full plan draft will be presented to the Board of Selectmen and Planning for input about mid-April. So you'll be able to see it, you'll be able to comment, and then we'll go back and put together the definitive copy. And as mentioned before, the completed master plan will be presented to both this board and the Board of Selectmen in June, and it'll be done and done.
Have you been getting pictures in?
We have over 50,
50.
Well,
and they're really good.
Yeah, there was. There's
Oh, they're
real good
beautiful.
shots.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
Some
I
of them are
was
professional.
very surprised.
we do have a lot of professional photographers in
Yeah,
town.
it was neat.
It was impressive. And the only other thing I wanted to mention, I know John wasn't here at the last meeting, he mentioned something about the budget. And we had a moment where we were concerned. As you're aware, we have a $145,000 budget for this. I have trouble getting around that number because I think we spent just a little over $10,000 30 years ago when it was completed in '98. So inflation, I guess, I don't know.
Bigger plans now. We have bigger plans.
Big plans. So it was $115,000 from EOHLC, Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, and $30,000 from the town. So we have a 66-page contract with CMRPC, which I had to go over and review because we were concerned that we were running through the money too fast. Because they had broken it down into 3 phases. It's basically 2-year period, 8 months each. So the first 8 months, we had budgeted $30,000, or they had budgeted, this is their budget, $30,000, which was the initial money that the town came up with. The second 8 months was $50,000, and we were sort of on track with that. This third phase, the last 8 months, we were budgeted $65,000, and Bob and Eric told us that we were going through it pretty quickly. We were being billed between $8,000 and $12,000 a month, and we were one payment away from having nothing. So that was a concern, so we revisited the contract and circled back with CMRPC. What we wanted to hear from them, which was our understanding, is that $145,000 gives us a completed, delivered master plan, and they affirmed that it does. And that what we have left, which is $12,862, is enough to get us across the finish line, and they said if for some reason we're short a few thousand, they have in-house resources that they can contribute. So we felt comfortable that we were good to go.
Awesome.
And our next meeting is February 18th. Thank you.
All right. Mrs. Charbonneau.
Yes.
Ongoing development updates?
Yep, Douglas Package Store is ongoing. Obviously, they're starting, getting the walls up and everything, so that's moving right along. I'm sure the snowstorm has slowed them down. 286 Webster Street. We held the tech review meeting last week for the new building or buildings that Mr. Leonard would like to do up there. The project will require site plan approval from the planning board, as well as a special permit for the outdoor processing they want to do. So that's going to be a dual approval when that comes forward. I'm just waiting on the submittal of the application. So we had tech review last week and went fairly smoothly, so I'm just waiting on that application. And that's it for ongoing developments.
Okay.
Oh, I did want to say on Evergreen Estates, I have been in contact with a gentleman.
Which is off of South Street.
What's that?
Off of South Street.
Yep. And so that's the one where a lot of the infrastructure went in 2008, but that was the project that's been idle for about 17 years. But I did contact town council and verify with her that their approval is still active, because in the decision it says they need to start construction within 24 months, which they did, but then they stopped in 2008. It was approved in 2006. But there was no stipulation in the decision that the decision would be invalid if they stopped construction or didn't finish by a certain time. So they do still have an active approval, so if the gentleman wants to purchase it and pick it up where it left off, that would be fine. But similar to Lane Hunts Pond, there would be a lot they would have to do to basically move forward.
Update it.
Yeah, because there are trees growing out of the catch basins and things like that, and just again, sit down and have a new tech review meeting, because again, there's been so, hardly anyone is still here from 17, 18 years ago, so just reintroduce the project. So, but they do have a valid approval, and they can pick up, the special permit's still valid, and they can pick up where that left off if they want to. And that's it for ongoing. That is it for ongoing developments.
Okay. Town planner report, anything?
Yes. So, on the next agenda, I just got a general timeline of the May town meeting. So, I would like to have a discussion at February 11th and have a public hearing on the 25th for 2 potential warrant articles. I think we've discussed this previously. One is going to be tweaking of the ADU bylaw that was approved back in November 2024, but a few elements were rejected by the Attorney General's office. So finding out from town council that what Mr. Frazier came and discussed previously, in the eyes of the law, ADUs and in-law suites are identical. So the AG would not approve a separate bylaw for in-law suites. We're going to proceed with the tweaking of the ADU bylaw that was approved at November 2024, and just leave it at that. So anyway, so the answer on that was the AG's office would not approve something like that. So we're back at just tweaking what was approved and making sure it complies with the state regulations, which is not difficult. So I would like to at least discuss the tweaks that are going to be made on February 11th and then hold a public hearing on the 25th that will satisfy the state requirements for town meeting. Okay. And the other one will be, we did finally hear from the Attorney General's office on the stormwater bylaw that was passed, and they rejected one sentence. So in reading it, and I discussed this with the Stormwater Committee last night, we're just going to remove the sentence. If they don't like the sentence, remove it. It doesn't affect anything else. It doesn't change our internal process. I spoke with Ken about it this morning, and he's fine with it. So it's basically just removing a sentence.
Yeah, so to satisfy the state's needs.
Exactly. So those are the 2 articles that I would like the planning board to sponsor for town meeting. So at least present you the information that I'm thinking about doing for those tweaks at the 11th, and then hold the public hearing on the 25th.
Very well.
Because I think the warrant is going to open in, I think, early March. So that way we could have our public hearing, and then obviously I would submit to the select board, and they would refer it back to us. Yeah. So I could submit that for the next meeting.
Are there any roadways going to be coming up this year?
We haven't received anything. I haven't heard anything. So because we're still working with William Drive, it's not close.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
He's just not doing anything. there was a letter from March of 2026. Ken and I went out with Haley Ward in August, and he submitted a revised letter where basically nothing changed. And so this is the pattern, unfortunately, of this developer is, he's told what we give him a letter with what he needs to do. He complains about it. He doesn't do anything about it. Goes away for a few months. Comes back and starts saying, hey, I want to get this accepted. And it's like Groundhog Day. We keep saying, no, you still haven't satisfied the letter. So I don't know what the disconnect is, but that we seem to be in that cycle. So, until we get a clean letter from Haley Ward, it's not going to be considered for acceptance. So I did direct him at my last email last week. I did send him the street acceptance policy that there is, he needs to start the process 6 months in advance. So he said, thank you for that. So that's the last communication I've had with him. So.
And we're less than 6 months away, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah, so he can't get in time for this town meeting, so.
And that's really the only part, that's the only one that's kind of close, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That's the only one, I don't say hanging in limbo, would be that one.
Right.
And Whiten.
And Whiten.
Whiten, that's the name, Whiten, yeah.
Those two.
Yeah, those, okay.
Yep. So,
All right.
so I don't see anything coming up for this town meeting at least.
All right, no, just curious how years go by.
Right. Can I ask a question? Mr. Charbonneau?
Yes.
On the ADU item, are we going to, since they're not going to approve us having two separate or differing designations, are we going to attempt to incorporate anything from the accessory apartment into the ADU bylaw?
Well, whatever was approved at town meeting, we're just basically going to tweak. We're going to tweak those parts. So it was a deletion and an addition. So I didn't go back and rework it. I'm just going with what was approved and just making the changes that would make the state happy. And they're fairly minor changes.
So then, I'm just thinking about the general public that currently has accessory apartments.
So what would happen is, they would become pre-existing non-conforming if they're beyond the 900 feet, which is only, I think, 6 of them. So basically, they would become
Pre-existing non-conforming ADUs.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But anything 900 square feet or under would just now be considered ADU, and they would no longer have to come in and renew their special permits because they would no longer be subject to special permits. So those renewals would become a thing of the past. Did you sign the second sheet that the town clerk stamped?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, and talk to the town council, that's what would happen is that people would no longer have to come in and renew with the planning board every 3 years.
All right. Any other topics for not anticipated 48 hours? All right, see, there's,
Go Patriots.
Oh my God.
and stay warm.
These last 2 games have been so stressful.
All right.
Years off my life.
Need a motion?
Our next meeting is February 11, 2026, and yes, some
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
made by Mr. Zwicker, second by Mr. Preston. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, adjourned.